Everyone, welcome to Little Lovers channel. Today we are going to look upon a summary of a Far From the Madding Crowd, written by Hardy. It's begin with the description of former Gabriel Oak, a man just out of youth who established himself as a sheep farmer and putting all of his savings into the livestock. One day he sights of a woman called Bathsaheb Everton. She was looking at a mirror, and later, while he was sleeping in his cottage without leaving a window open to let out the smoke from his fire, Bathsaheb fire catches and Bathsaheb saves him. Gabriel begins to fall in love with her, finally musters up the courage to go to her aunt's house and ask her hand in marriage. But Bathsaheb isn't at home. The aunt, Mrs. Hertz, tells Gabriel that her niece has already host of suitors. There are many suitors present for her to get married, but she is not accepting any one of them. So not long after, Gabriel hears that Bathsaheb has left for Weatherbury. Her uncle has died, and she is going to take over as a mistress of his farm. Soon after that, Gabriel awakes in the middle of the night to find that one of his over-eager dogs has chased his entire flock of sheep across the fields, and they have fallen over a cliff to their deaths, destroying his entire life savings. Gabriel settles his debts and is left penniless. Now he goes off in search of employment as a bailiff or ever shepherd. He hears that Weatherbury has a vacancy there. So on his way to the job fair, he comes across a fire and takes charge of the disorganized farm hands, trying to put it out. He manages to save it. Impressed, the mistress of the farm rides over and unveils herself. It's Bathsaheb again. Cool and unflustered, she says she needs a shepherd, so she hires this Gabriel. He goes to Warren Malthouse, where a number of farm hands, including John Cogan, Matthew Moon, Harry Ferry, Joseph Poorgrass, and Laban Toll, they gather in gossip by discussing the affairs, love affairs, town affairs. Tonight, the two pieces of news, that is, one is Bailiff Pennyways has been caught stealing. Second is Fanny Robin, Bathsaheb's youngest servant, is missing. Fanny Robin, keep in mind, this is a very important character later. It's soon discovered that Fanny Robin runs off with her lover, a soldier, in another town. Gabriel had run into a girl on his way into town, and she had looked scared and desperate. He gave her a little money then, and she now sends him the money back with her letter telling him that she is going to be married to Sergeant Francis Troy, but ask him to keep this news quiet. Meanwhile, Fanny goes to see Troy, calling up to his barracks window from the outside and reminding him that he promised to marry her. He waffles for a little while, but then admits and promises, and they get married. Meanwhile, Bathsaheb is growing accustomed to her role as a female farmer, and everyone accepts as a woman she can do it. Nonetheless, she impressed everyone, apart from only one man, serious middle-aged farmer, that is Mr. Boldwood. He fails to give attention to her, so it haunts her, and she starts doing trick on him. So, sitting with her servant, Lady Smallbury, she planned to prepare to send a valentine to one of the little boys in the village, Teddy Coogan. Liddy suggests that it would be hilarious to send the valentine to Baldwood instead. On a whim, Batsaheb decides to do so. She seals an anonymous letter with a joke seal that says, "Marry me." Bollywood is thunderstruck upon receiving that letter. After spending some time, he decides to go to Warren's malt house, where a number of other workers are drinking and chatting. He lives with Gabriel and asks him to identify that handwriting, and he recognizes it as Batsaheb's handwriting. That's and the next market, Bollywood really fell in love with her and started and he resolves to speak with her and ask her to marry him. Now deeply uncomfortable, Batsaheb refuses it, but Bollywood insists. And he hadn't been led to believe that she had feelings for him, but Batsaheb is unable to convince him that it was all just a game. Still, she doesn't love him, but she admits to give some time for her. She goes to Gabriel to talk about it, but instead of sympathy, she finds that he is disappointed in her actions. Batsaheb grows angry and dismisses him. Soon enough, though, Gabriel's services are needed when the ship get into clover and risk being poisoned. He manages to save almost all of them, and Batsaheb returns on her charm once again in order to convince him to stay. So during the ship sharing time, Bollywood asks for Batsaheb's hand once again, and she should make amends for her action. She'll try to love him, but would like him to wait for a few more weeks. Thrilled by this news, and he agrees. Batsaheb is pacing the grounds when she literally runs into a man on a path. A piece of fabric on her dress gets stuck to one of his soldier's button. The man begins to tease her about her beauty and charm. Batsaheb isn't sure, and that is the Sergeant Troy. He tricks, and she falls in love with him. But later she comes to know that Troy. Later she convinces him to get married, and they get married later. Batsaheb falls in love with him, and she reminds regarding the Gabriel, and Gabriel pleads this Troy. He gets to know regarding this Troy and Batsaheb, and he pleads to Troy without knowing that Batsaheb and Troy are married. He pleads them to get engaged. Later, Batsaheb is gone for a few weeks, and Gabriel's helper Kenny Bell brings the news from the farm hands that he saw her. And Gabriel got to know that Troy and Batsaheb get married. Later, Batsaheb soon grows upset with Troy's laziness, penchant for drinking, and love for gambling and horse racing. On the night of the harvest dinner, he ignores Gabriel's warning that a storm is coming and the risks should be battened down to protect the produce. Instead, he plies the workers with brandy until they are in a drunken stupor. Only Gabriel and later Batsaheb work all night to protect the farm. Soon after, Troy and Bathsheba are leaving the Casterbridge market when they see a poor aged woman walking along the road. Troy tells Batsaheb to go ahead. Here is recognized Fanny, and they agreed to meet a few days afterward so that Troy can help her and find her a place to stay. At home, Bathsheba discovers a lock of blonde hair in Troy's watch case. He admits it belonged to the girl he loved before her. Only a few days later, the news reaches town that Fanny is dead. She had walked all the way to the Casterbridge Union House and had died soon after arriving. Bathsheba is troubled by this news, wondering if there's any connections to Troy. She has Fanny's casket brought her own house, since Fanny was her uncle's servant. Mary Ann tells Bathsheba of a rumor that there are two people in the caskets, not one. Gabriel had seen Fanny and child written on the coffin and had rubbed out. And child? That night Bathsheba dares to open the coffin, and she sees the two as well as Fanny's golden hair. Later, Troy arrives and sees Fanny's body. He kisses it and tells Bathsheba that he only ever loved Fanny and that Bathsheba is nothing to him. He storms off. First, he spends all his money getting a gravestone engraved and plants flower around it, though the rain wipes them away. He then decides he cannot return home. He leaves. And people believe that he died, but he went to join the voyage to America for 6 months. Back to Weatherbury, Bathsheba has reached a dull apathy. At first, she refuses to believe that Troy is dead, and she has a doubt regarding this. Boldwood proposes that she agrees to marry him 7 years from Troy's disappearance, since she will not legally be a widow, because their marriage is not this Troy and Bathsheba's marriage is not known to everyone, the secret marriage. So Bathsheba again puts him off, torn about what to do, since she knows she owes him a great deal. At late summer fair, Troy returns as an employee, and he has a plan to reclaim his property in his wife's and her farm. But that Christmas, Boldwood prepares a grand party quite out of keeping with his personality. As it approaches, Bathsheba grows increasingly anxious. Finally, at the party, Boldwood once again proposes to her. Finally, she agrees to marry him at the aforementioned date. Even though she clearly distraught, Boldwood seems satisfied that he has gotten an answer from her and forces her to wear a ring he has bought for her. As they emerge, though, the doorman calls that a stranger is outside, and Troy walks in. He orders Bathsheba to leave with him. Bathsheba freezes, but then Boldwood tells her to go with her husband. As Troy seizes her arm, though she screams, and suddenly Boldwood shoots Troy dead, and he puts him in jail, Casterbridge jail. Gabriel goes to fetch the doctor, and when they return, Bathsheba is sitting regally, her full composure regained, with Troy's head and in her lap. But when they return to her home, she begins to wail about her guilt, everything that has happened because of her. Boldwood is initially sentenced to death, but thanks to a petition, is given a life sentence. Gabriel tells Bathsheba that he is planning to leave the farm and perhaps even the country. She grows increasingly upset at what seems to be a greater coolness from him and disregard for her. Finally, she goes to see him at this cottage, and he agreed to marry. He tells her that he's agreed to marry to take on Boldwood's farm. Bathsheba admits she has been waiting for him to ask her to marry him once more. Gabriel is surprised but thrilled. They get married with only a few witnesses, but that evening many of the farm hands come to wish them well, while bringing instruments and singing songs at their approach. So thank you. Please do subscribe, like and share.